Hey everybody, welcome to the Tatter-a-Fact Podcast, where PMU gets real, raw, and unapologetic. I'm Teryn with Girlz Ink, your no bullshit mentor with 25 years in the game. So let's raise the bar and let's keep it there. Today, I'm not doing this alone today. I got Sarah with me today. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Teryn.
So anybody, well, you've been on the podcast before.
Yeah, I've been on a few times now.
Yeah.
I've been on a few times now.
And when you're on, it's always tends to be a popular episode. And for people that do business with Girlz Ink, like order from Girlz Ink or distributors, they know who you are. You're a big part of Girlz Ink, and you do a lot for Girlz Ink. So welcome. Glad you wanted to come on today.
Oh, thanks, Teryn.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. I think we got a really good subject today that is going to hopefully be inspiring, motivational, and fill people with hope and practical solutions.
I think it will.
I do too. We took a long time on this episode and how we wanted to present this episode. So this episode, we're going to talk about the PMU Slowdown and how to stay strong. So this is something a lot of you have been feeling. And a lot of artists have been talking about. We're seeing it on the Facebook boards like crazy. Business is slow. A lot of artists and even some distributors have been calling Girlz Ink because when you do business with us, a relationship forms, it seems.
Yes.
And then they just call us to get our opinions. And sometimes it's not even about business. But a lot of artists and people in the industry have been calling or reaching out to us. And a lot of times they get you, Sarah.
Yes.
And they're asking if we're slow too, and stating, I'm the slowest I've ever been. And you brought that up a few weeks ago.
Yeah, because I started getting more and more calls on it. It started being, every 2 weeks, and then it was once a week.
Yeah.
And then it got more frequent where people, and I do develop relationships. So hi, everyone who's worked with me in the past. But I do develop relationships with everyone, and Girlz Ink does that. And they confide in us, and you all really rely on us to kind of have a pulse on what's going on. And it's true. It has been slow. And I think that it's time that we do get to talk about it.
Yeah. I think when people get scared, they want to know that they can call someone trusted and get their opinion or their feel on things. I know when scary things happen in the world or here in the US, I would always call my dad. I always called my father because he remained calm. He would talk to me, and he would educate me. And he was not an alarmist, but he was a very practical man, a realist, but he wasn't an alarmist. And if I was scared, I would always hang up, not being scared anymore. Maybe I still felt some concern and some worry, but when I called him, I was panicking. And he could always talk to me and explain things in a way that it would really help me. And that's probably one of the things I'm going to miss most about my dad. I haven't talked about my dad yet on this podcast, and I'm not going to now. But one of these days I will. But and I think people feel a closeness with Girlz Ink, that they use Girlz Ink in the same way that I would rely on my dad. Some of our customers and people we've been doing business with, Sarah, it's been years and years and years and years. There's a real relationship there, and you don't want to feel like you're alone or you're crazy. Yeah. So when you told me, Teryn, it's like numerous times a week I'm getting these calls, and sometimes it would come in an email. I'd see the email, but a lot of times it was calls. I was like, yeah, let's do a podcast on this. Let's talk to our listeners. And you know, I never lie to anybody. I don't candy coat anything.
Right.
I always speak truth. So yes, things are slower, right? And not just for you listening. If you're listening and you're slow, you're not the only one who's slow. It's slow for a lot of people and a lot of companies across the entire industry. We're slower. Girlz Ink is slower. And I'm not going to pretend we're not. I'm not going to put up this facade and like we're untouchable, right? We're solid and we're not going anywhere, but we're slower. You know, we've seen it. We've felt it. And so we'll talk about that, you know, and actually, Sarah, it is not just slow in the PMU industry. It is across the whole economy. And although we're going to talk about a slower economy, I don't go anywhere. Don't turn this podcast off, because this is not about doom and gloom. It's not. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not about doom and gloom. You know, I'll call shit out. I'll recognize it, but I'm all about truth, hope, and strategy. I'm all about being here when this economy turns the corner and starts popping again. So we're going to look to the why things are slow, what it means for PMU artists specifically, and most importantly, what PMU artists can do right now to come out stronger on the other side, because there will be the other side to this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing stays the same forever. It will turn a corner and it will get better.
Right.
As Darlene's story says, all the time, owner of LI, all the time. This should be on her tombstone. This too shall pass. Constantly says it to me when I call her griping about this or griping about Teryn, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
She's so gentle that way. So go ahead, Sarah. Let's talk about the bigger picture.
Yeah. So after we decided to do this podcast, I decided to dig a little bit deeper, because yeah, I would encourage people and say it was slow everywhere, but I didn't know the numbers, you know?
Right.
And what inspired me to actually look into it is Olivia and I were having a conversation, and Olivia said that her honey said that his company was the slowest that it had ever been. And we're talking about merchandising at a very large scale at grocery stores, gas stations.
Like a national global brand.
Yeah. And everyone's had a cup in their hand at one time or another, right? So that really got me thinking, right? So I did pull some data. I'm going to have to look down real quick because it's boring economy numbers, just forewarning everyone. But so in August of 2025, the U.S. leading economic index, think of that like the scorecard where the economy is heading, right? It dropped by 0.5% in 1 month. Okay, so that's everyone freaking out, right, and holding on to their money, right? And then over 6 months, right, the last 6 months, it's been down 2.8%, which is steep compared to the 9% drop that we saw before that, right? So the 6 months before, it only dropped by 9%. Then the following 6 months, it dropped by 2.8%, right? So that's over 3 times the amount of drop that they were anticipating. And then the GDP in the first quarter of this year, the economy shrank.
Can I So GDP, just so everybody knows what that is, that is gross domestic product.
Yes.
Can you tell them what gross domestic product is?
Kind of. I'm not an economic.
We're not an economist.
I can't even say economicist.
And we're keeping this simplistic.
Right. So the GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in a country, and they usually measure it per quarter.
Right.
So that's consumption. So that's how much you're spending in your day-to-day life.
Groceries. Does that also include going out to restaurants?
Yes.
Movies. So what Americans are spending on products, food, services, restaurants, movies, entertainment, all that stuff.
All that.
In a quarter. That's GDP.
Consumption. And then it also does business, right? How much businesses are spending. And housing costs, right? Or how many houses are being purchased.
Oh, okay.
And then government spending, right? And then exports and imports.
Oh, so that's
all of that together.
That's huge. Yeah. All of that together. Okay. That's okay.
All together. And so that's what the GDP is. So that went down. It went down by like 0.5%. And then it shot back up the second quarter over 3%. So it makes it very volatile.
Right.
And that's why people aren't spending right now.
Yeah. And I think it depends on what we hear on the news if you watch the news.
Yes.
Because doesn't the news and the media kind of doom and gloom kind of?
Gets ratings.
Right? Happy, joyful stories don't get ratings. You hear a lot of commentators and newscasters and people in the media say that. That the doom and gloom negative stories get the most ratings. And so that's why they put out a lot of this stuff. And not that I don't think this information is important and shouldn't be talked about on the news, but if you buy too much, if you let it get too in your head, then you can become fearful.
Yes.
And then that fear can release like this whole domino effect to like your psyche and like how you move through life. So, yeah,
Well, the data is neutral, right?
Yeah.
They're just numbers.
Right.
But when we watch the news or something like that, that tends to influence our emotion because we're not just reading it on a paper. We're watching people talk about it.
Right.
Right. And so, yeah, it could be quite negative. Or we can turn it into a positive. It's neutral. It's just a standing point of where the U.S. is at as an economy.
So
right?
when you're hearing the numbers like that come across the news, I guess it's neutral. They're numbers.
Right.
So I see it two ways. How is that newscaster presenting it?
Right.
What tone are they using? What adjectives what else are they adding to that? Are they using a tone and body language and adding some of their own paraphrasing to make it feel negative? If not, okay, well, if they are, then we're going to take it as negative and it's going to scare us. Let's just say that newscast person is delivering it very neutral. There's going to be a certain percentage of people that take that and internalize that as bad news, negative, and be fearful. And then there's a certain percentage of people who are going to take it for what it is, neutral. Am I accurate? In those kind of two things?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how we absorb the news is really important, and how our mind, how we absorb it and what we allow our mind and our thoughts to do with that news, process that news is very, very important.
Yes. And being aware of how you're receiving that information and
Right.
why you are.
Right. Do you know, I think I've mentioned it before on this podcast, but I used to be a news junkie. And about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years, I came off the news. I mean, almost completely. Yeah. I like in the morning, I love Gail. I love my Gail. I even stopped watching Gail and Tony and I can't remember the other guy's name. Oh, I can't remember. But I just didn't want to start my day with negative news. I just didn't want it in my head. So I get up in the morning now and I listen to an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've changed. And that was a really hard change for me because you're talking 25 years. I get up, get my coffee, sit down, put on the morning news or Gale or, the Today Show or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
That was my routine. TV, morning news, however it was delivered. And then I got to change. I got to change. I'm starting my day with like negative news. It's not good. It was affecting me. So I started doing audiobooks and it was a hard change. I was grumpy at first. I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. And I felt out of place. I felt all discombobulated and it totally fucked me up at first. And because I'm a Virgo, I'm out of my routine now,
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh shit, this is hard. I didn't realize how much how invested I was getting my cup of coffee, sitting on the couch and turning on the news. I was really invested in that routine. Mm-hmm. But I did it. And we've been doing it for, would you say 3 months, Sarah?
Just about. Maybe a little bit longer now.
Yeah. The evening news I got rid of and news any other time of day I got rid of 2-3 years ago. But I still kept the morning news, the morning show until about 3 months ago. And it's been so good for me. It was a hard habit to break, but I broke it. And now I love my coffee with my audiobook. Mm-hmm. I love it. And all of us, the team right now, I came across a book.
Yes.
And I had all of you, I'm like, you all have to download this book. And we're all listening together at our prospective homes.
Yes.
And we're going to start talking about the chapters at work.
Mm-hmm. Now we have a Girlz Ink book club.
We do. But we only choose positive things,
right.
Things that will increase our knowledge about entrepreneurship, about business, about business strategies. Sometimes it's just purely motivational and inspirational. So it's all good stuff coming into our minds and bodies in the morning. And then that's how you start your day, full of that good stuff rather than full of that negative stuff. Some people get up and scroll Facebook first thing in the morning while they're drinking their coffee. I'm like, oh, hell no.
Right.
Hell no. I could never do that.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much bad stuff on Facebook. I could never do that. And I don't know if I have the discipline to not stop and read the bad stuff.
Right.
I never comment, but I may I may pull over and read the bad stuff. I don't necessarily have the discipline not to.
Right. There's something about it, right?
There's something about it. I don't comment anything negative.
Yeah.
But I'll still read it.
Right.
So I don't even peruse Facebook or Instagram anymore. I stopped that a long time ago. I only look at my little globe thing and see if anybody's tagged me. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go where I'm tagged. Mm-hmm. But I don't peruse the Facebook boards or Facebook in general, social media in general. Nope, I don't.
Yeah.
It's too negative. And I got to protect myself.
Yeah.
All right. So continue on.
Yeah. So when it comes to the economy, I mean, yeah, we're all slow, but we have to remember that the beauty industry always bounces back the fastest.
Historically.
Right.
Yes.
And you've seen that before.
No, I have seen that. And I'll tell you that back in the 30s, the Depression, the Great Depression, right? One of the products that remained, now that was a bad depression. Mm-hmm. I mean, people lost, my great-grandparents lost their restaurants. My grandparents lost their home. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. I don't think we've ever seen devastation quite like that.
And hopefully we never do.
And hopefully we never will again.
Right.
We've had a few things since then that aren't great, but that was really bad. But the one product that stayed pretty popular and kept selling, remained a very good seller, was L'Oreal's red lipstick. And that's because beauty products, getting your hair done, getting your nails done, having your eyebrows on, red lipstick for some ladies, that makes you feel attractive. That makes women feel good about themselves.
Confident.
It gives them confidence. And if everything else is falling apart around them, right? The economy, business is slow. Back during the Depression when they were losing their homes. I mean, women, as far back as the 30s, and it hasn't changed, we women want to feel good about ourselves. We want to have self-confidence. It's important to us. And that just hasn't changed. And I don't mean to leave men out.
Right.
I know there's a handful of men that are kind of like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I met one at the conference that I was just at, PMU World Live. Matt Goss, give you a shout out. Mm-hmm. Handsome young man and dresses very good and very much cares about his aesthetics. Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was great seeing him. But majority speaking, it's women.
Right. It's
women. So a lot of people don't cut out beauty and self-care during difficult times. They'll cut out going out to dinner. They'll cut out buying new clothes maybe. They'll cut out other items, mm-hmm. But they're reluctant to cut out their beauty and self-care items and products.
And they'll always find a way.
For sure. So, look, if you're an artist right now and you're staring at, you open your book and it's empty. You're looking at empty slots, empty days, empty weeks in your books. You didn't suddenly lose your touch or your swag. There's a big picture here. And this is why we wanted to do this episode. There's a big picture here that's affecting your business. And not everybody's business is affected. I do want to point that out. Some people listening, they're not affected, mm-hmm. But enough people are. We're seeing it that we wanted to talk about it. But and this is why this podcast is not a doom and gloom, right? Here's the positive reframing of a bad economy affecting your books. Downturns can actually be real opportunities, right? They force you to sharpen your skills, to tighten up your business, and to stop being complacent if you were complacent. And I think that's human nature. I think a lot of people get complacent. I've been complacent in my career. When things are going really, really, really good.
Yes.
You don't think it's ever going to stop. And you can kind of get complacent and just roll with it. That's what tends to happen when the books are packed and money's floating. We tend to coast a little bit, spend more, coast a little bit. So there can be opportunity in a downturn, and there has to be, right? And we wanted to point those opportunities out to you. Because not everybody, I think, is capable of pulling themselves up out of feeling fearful or feeling hopelessness, right? Some people, they need to be kicked in the butt, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah.
So we're here to kick you in the butt. If you're the one who needs to be kicked in the butt. Sometimes I need to be kicked in the butt.
We all needed a good butt kicking every once in a while.
I like kicking butt sometimes. Yeah. So I would say this is what this podcast is. It's a good kick in the butt. Like if you're feeling down and hopeless and, and all, it's like, no, No. Even if it's slow, even if a lot's going on, you gotta maintain hope. You've got to.
Mm-hmm.
Or what else is there?
Right.
If you lose hope, then what is there? There's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. So we're going to help you do that today. So I think PMU is still strong. Do you agree with me? You're getting all the phone calls, Sarah,
Yeah.
that it's slow. Do you think PMU is still strong?
I think it's still strong. I think it still has a place in the industry, the beauty industry as a whole.
Yep.
And I see it growing again. Right?
Oh,
I see it growing again and continuing to expand.
I do too. I think look, it's really at any moment. Like when we thought things were going to turn around in 2025. And I think that's why a lot of people are feeling depressed, maybe hopelessness, is because everybody talked about 2025 was going to be the year that everything turned around. And it really didn't. And we're seeing a lot of entrepreneurs and companies, right? They're not in growth mode. They're in maintain mode, if not troubleshoot mode.
Right.
All through 2025, right? And so I can't say when, I don't have a magic ball and I would never predict when, but I just think it's at any time. I just feel it. I feel it's coming. I feel it's coming where we're going to turn a corner and PMU is going to start popping again. The economy is going to start popping again. I can't say it's going to be this month, that month. I just can't. And I would never be so reckless as to do so. But I just got this inner feeling and inner knowing that PMU ain't going anywhere. And it's actually going to start really thriving and popping again. Yeah. And look, you want to be there for that. Mm-hmm. You want to be there for that. You didn't come this far just to come this far, right?
That's right.
So you have to find a way to hang on. So let's talk about first, why, like, Sarah, why do you and I talk about this all the time. Why is PMU still strong? And why is it not just makeup, but it's a life-changing service?
Right.
Right? I'll start. Number one, it saves clients money and time.
Yes.
Right? It saves money, saves clients money and time. So if you compare like a set of brows that lasts years, right? And the way I work, I use iron oxides. My clientele, their eyebrows are going to last 2 years at the very least, 2 to 4 years. My magic number and my average is probably right around that 3-year mark. Mm-hmm. Their brows are going to last that long. It's their eyeliner. I do a lot of eyeliners. I do lips. It saves them time. It's super convenient. And it saves them money in the long run. A lot of money in the long run. Mm-hmm. So I think that's number one.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to add on to that. It saves a lot of money and it looks better. Like personally, that's the whole reason why I decided to get permanent makeup. And luckily I have a lot of amazing artists that are around me, but I couldn't draw my brows on to save my life. My eyeliner, are you kidding me? My lips? No.
I was going to say, are you saying that we artists can tattoo it on better than most people can apply it themselves?
Absolutely.
No, we appreciate that. That's a compliment to us PMU artists.
Yeah.
We already know that.
Right.
Yeah. But it is, we're, we all know, everybody listening, your clients come in with these wonky brows and, we got to gently but firmly convince them that we can do better than that.
Yes.
And we do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, they end up looking much more attractive. It takes years off them.
Mhm.
You know, when they wake up in the morning, they want to look in the mirror and see attractiveness and youth. And that's what permanent makeup does for people, right? I've always said eyebrows, to me, I've always looked at eyebrows. Eyebrows is not really makeup. It's not makeup. Like eyeliner's makeup. Lips, that's kind of a makeup. But eyebrows are a feature. We're born with eyebrows.
Mhm.
You know, the majority of us.
Mhm.
You know, we're born with eyebrows. It's a feature to our face that we're born with. And when you lose eyebrows, which a lot of us women do, even at young ages, you know, naturally, I'm not even talking alopecia or any of that. I'm just talking naturally the brows thinned out and now you don't have no brows. It happened to me, you know, I think I was 30 and like I'm using a brow pencil.
Mhm.
You know, so that's a feature that we can give back to the client. We can give them their eyebrows back, which frame the face and makes them look, it brings back their youth. You know, I think you look older without your brows.
Mhm.
You know, it's an odd look if you don't have your brows. You know, it's like when I do breast, when I first started doing breast, and they would come in without their areola or nipple. They just had their breast rebuilt. And I remember the first time that I saw just a breast mound or a rebuild breast. And I had never seen a breast without an areola or a nipple. And it just struck me. It's like, wow, it's odd looking. Like it doesn't really look like a boob, a breast.
Mhm.
And that was just something you never thought about before.
Right.
Like the aesthetic an areola and a nipple brings to a breast. That was nothing, I never had a conversation about that before. That's something I never thought about. Who thinks about that?
Right.
You know?
Right.
But when you're a cosmetic tattoo artist and you get into that part of tattooing, then you're faced with it. And you're like, wow, it's not just a part of the breast. It actually makes the breast look, I don't want to say normal because some people choose not to get
Mhm.
an areola or nipple back on, and that's okay. But I get it brings some sort of aesthetic back to the breast that
Mhm.
we're used to seeing. I'll word
Right.
it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what brows do. And
Mhm.
if you've lost your eyelashes, that's what a lash enhancement can do.
Mhm.
Do you know? If you have no color in your lips, that's what lips can do.
Mhm.
But when you lose your brows, you lost your brows.
Mhm.
Do you know? You don't lose your lips.
Right.
You know, you might not have a lot of color, but you don't lose your lips. Like,
Right.
They don't fall off your face.
Right.
Right. So I think brows are like super important, just super important. So
Yeah.
that's what we do for people. And I think confidence is recession proof. When people are stressed, again, they want to feel really good about themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think our impact on people is huge. It's not just vanity. It is for some.
Right.
Some clients that we work on, it's pure vanity. It's pure convenience of time. It's strictly that for some clients. Vanity and convenience. But for others, it's quality of life. Right? Clients with tremors, right?
Yeah.
Clients with tremors. Or clients who can't see to do their makeup anymore. I have several blind women that I work on.
Mhm.
Several. You know, and I love them. They're great. They're great. And I remember my very first one, I teased her, well, how are you going to know? She didn't bring a friend or anything.
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
she had a taxi drop her off. Yeah. And you know, she tried to draw her brows on, but all her friends told her, you gotta go get them tattooed. And I was surprised she didn't bring a friend.
Right.
But I remember like, because this is me, this is how I talk to my clients, you know, I'm like, so, well, you didn't bring a friend. I'm surprised you didn't bring a friend to kind of approve my shape. No. I just took taxi here. I was like, well, how are you going to know? How are you going to know for sure that I'm drawing on a good shape and I'm doing a good job? well, I trust you. You came highly referred.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and that was good enough for you. She goes, that was good enough for me. Yeah, it was more than one person. It was several people.
Mm-hmm.
And I still thought I would never trust somebody. I would bring like 2 of my besties to make sure it was being drawn on good and looked good. And, but no, my very first blind client put that much trust in me. Mm-hmm. And that did something to me that day. It really, really did. It made me feel how important our service is and how important it is to be super skilled at what we do, because what we do is life-changing. And how much trust clients put into us.
Yeah.
A lot. I came face to face with it that moment with that client. I think we take for granted, or I may have. I don't think I really acknowledged it or came face to face with it until that particular client. And that was very early on in my career. I think I was only 2 years in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So clients with tremors, their hands shake, lots of different reasons, right? Some just naturally have a tremor. It can be health issues, older age, Parkinson, lots of different things. And they just can't draw or they can't see, like we talked about. And what else?
Well, alopecia is one, right?
Alopecia, 100%.
Right. And that's more common than what people realize, right? I'm sure you've had several clients with alopecia in the past.
Lots and lots and lots, and too many to count. And there's a handful that I remember that, that always stand out to me. One is the youngest client I ever worked on, who was, I can't really remember if she was 15 or 16, but she had just become the legal age here in Vegas. But she had to have consent and be accompanied by her parent, by a parent. And I can't remember if that's 15 or 16, but she was that young. And I had 2 of them. I had a young gal and I had a young gentleman, and both of them were 15 or 16, and their parents came in. And so, life-changing for them. Yes, for the young lady, the young girl, but I think even more so for the young boy, because he was drawing his eyebrows on with a pencil. So imagine being a boy, 15 years old, 10th grade, and the bullies, right? Coming up to him and rubbing his eyebrows off. And that was happening to him. And his parents pulled him out of school for a while.
Right.
So I had to make darn sure what I tattooed on him looked natural and like a boy, masculine. And that was a very stressful procedure for me. I had to nail it. I could not get that one wrong. You feel that way about everyone, but some are just that next level up. And he was one of them. And both turned out great. So I remember them. Yeah. And then there, the alopecia, it's all ages, but those are the 2 that stand out to me the most because they were young. They were so young and dealing with being bullied. And so there's 2 examples. Again, 2 more examples of where PMU was life changing for those 2 young people and the parents and families and those that loved those 2 young people, because they knew what they were going through, being bullied and whatnot. So, and I still see the gal today. Actually, she's in her mid-20s now, and she sees amber.
Oh, how cool.
Yes. And the young gentleman, I saw him for a few years, and I have a feeling maybe he moved. I don't want to say their names because, they're both here in town. And, so alopecia, right? Is life-changing. What about the mom? The mom with waking up with 1, 2, 3 kids in the morning.
Busy moms, and they have careers on top of it, and all the other million things they've got going on, right? Yeah.
All the housework, doing the banking because the husband don't.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, the woman does it all, right? We're a woman,
Right.
hear us roar. But the busy mom,
Yeah.
right? You can place that in the category of vanity and time, convenience, but also life-changing.
Yes.
Also life-changing.
Because those few minutes that it takes to do her makeup, right? Or her brows, her eyeliner, her lips, that's the time that she could be spent using other stuff. Ain't that right, Olivia? Yep, that's...
Yeah, because Olivia's a mom.
Yeah.
I mean, getting the bottle ready or helping your kids with their knapsack, making sure they got all their books they need for the day, helping your kids get dressed. I mean, there's drop-offs and pickups. There's, all kinds of things a mom's doing in the morning. So if she doesn't have to worry about putting her eyebrows and eyeliner and lips on, whatever she's concerned with having on, I mean, if we could take that off the table for moms, and we do, that can be life-changing. And then, that's the cosmetic. That's the makeup side of it. The eyebrows, lash enhancements, eyeliners, lips, right? For all kinds of people, for all different reasons, choose it. Important reasons, choose it. That changed their life in one way or another. Even the person that just gets it done for vanity. It changes their life, right? It gives them self-confidence. But what about all the paramedical? We haven't even touched on that. All the paramedical procedures that we perform. Areola, scar camouflage, stretch marks,
gender affirmation.
Gender affirmation. And, I'm having Candace Falcone on here in a few weeks, and she's an expert in that, and man, she does some great stuff. Shara, she's been on here talking about that, but life-changing, and I don't know as if that's more life-changing than just the makeup, the brows, eyeliner, and lips. If you ask the lady that just got a pair of brows, she might tell you, no, it was just as life-changing for me as it was for, the person that got their 3D areola or nipple tattooed on.
Right.
So, who are we to say
what's
more life-changing or what's more important for that particular client? Right. So these are just some of the reasons. I know we're forgetting things, but these are just some of the reasons PMU isn't going anywhere. PMU is still strong. And that's because it's a life-changing service. A life-changing service.
Right.
100%. All right, Sarah. So now that we settled that, PMU isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
How do we stay thriving when it's slow? What kind of advice can we give when it's slow? I'm going to start this one because it's a little personal.
Yeah.
And then I'll have you put in your 2 cents. But this is my 4th tough economy in 25 years, right? I just celebrated 25 years, September 9th. So I'm smack dab in the middle of my 4th tough economy. I've had 3 prior. 3. So my first, I got licensed. So I started PMU. I always say my PMU career started the day I tattooed my mom. Right? Because I can remember that.
Right.
Now, I think I was in my apprenticeship maybe 6 weeks prior, 8 weeks prior to that. It was a 6-month apprenticeship, and it was like a couple days a week. And so maybe I was in my apprenticeship like a couple of months, 2-3 months. I can't remember. But it was the day I did my mom.
Right.
And my trainer was like, I don't know what she was thinking, Sarah, but she had me do my mom's eyebrows and eyeliner. My very first procedure was my mom. Thank you, Mom. And and it took me about 8.5 hours.
8.5 hours.
Yes. My trainer left to go get takeout
Oh.
and come back because she got hungry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Left me alone to go get food
Mm-hmm.
because she got hungry. Because it took me
Because
and a
it
half.
took you that long.
It took me that long.
Mm-hmm.
Eyebrows and eyeliner. Again, thank you, Mom. So that's my start date, September 9th, 2000, right? So now we get in to 2001 and we have the .com bubble. That pops. And then what happens? 9/11. The 9/11 attacks. And that really, now that was a short economic downturn, but it certainly was. It was fierce and short. Lasted about a year. But it started when I'm just starting to build. And it killed me. I had weeks and weeks where I just didn't have people in my book. I was just starting to get a little, people in my book and getting a little consistency. And then that all happens. And then it was like nothing. And I had to go get a second job. And my second job, we didn't have Uber. But it was like Meals on Wheels. We had walkie-talkies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we had like maybe 6 or 7 different restaurants in Vegas we'd pick up from. Chili's, Applebee's, Macaroni Grill, Olive Garden, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have a certain area of Vegas town. And so I'd go park at this particular grocery store. And I'd have my permanent makeup book that I bought from the SPCP, I think. And I'd park with my walkie-talkie on, and I'd read and study until the call would come in. I can't remember what number it was, but I was like, let's say I was number 22. Hey, number 22, we have to pick up Macaroni Grill. 22, pick up Macaroni Grill. Well, I put my permanent makeup book, start my car, and I'd head to Macaroni Grill. And sometimes I get a few calls back to back to back. And then sometimes I get an hour and a half downtime. So whenever I had downtime, I'd go park and read my permanent makeup book. Study. I didn't give up. So I make it through that, right? I start filling my book, 5 years in, I become a trainer here in the US. My book is super consistent. I'm doing good. Like my skills are rocking. And then 2008 hits. And they coined that the Great Recession. Woo. And that was a big one. And 2008 to 2010 was probably its worst, but it lasted a lot longer than that for so many people.
Right.
I've heard so many people tell me they still haven't fully recovered from the 2008 recession because they lost their home.
Right.
So many people lost their home. So I think when you lose your home, that's hard to come back from for a lot of people, whether it's, financially or emotionally, mentally, or all of it.
Right.
So that hits. That hits. Right. But I make it through that okay because I had a reserve, which we'll talk about later, because I learned from the first time. And I had a dad that talked to me about business and finances and this and that and the other, because he was a plumber.
Right.
He had his own business and his own truck, and he was a plumber. So, okay. So we get through 2008, 2010, right? And I make it through. Not a great couple of years, but I make it through. Women still, I would have women come and lay down and say, yeah, they're taking my house and I'm putting this on my credit card, but they wanted their brows done. I would hear those stories like crazy. And I couldn't believe they're in my bed getting services done and their house is in foreclosure. But that goes back to what we were saying before. Women still want their self-confident and they'll give up other things, but not their beauty and self-care products.
Right.
Some women just won't. But my business did decline, and I had to make it through that. And now okay. So I make it through that, and I'm rocking and rolling. I'm doing really good. Oh my God, Girlz Ink store is rocking and rolling. I'm speaking on stages all over the world. right?
Mm-hmm.
There were so many things in the pipeline. I don't even think you were with us yet, Sarah.
No.
But we had just hired Olivia.
Yeah.
Olivia had been with us about 3 months or so. And what happens?
Bum, bum, bum.
COVID.
Mm-hmm.
COVID hits. The recession, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
That hit, and that hit all over the world, and it came out of left field. No one was expecting it. I don't think no one could have dreamed anything like that ever could have happened, where basically the world, countries, states across the world would shut down businesses and command everybody stay home. And I'm not getting into the politics, whether it was right or not. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're just talking, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And we all, we're home. Some of us, I think some people still got to go to work, but the majority, we were home for 3.5 months.
Right.
And then here in Vegas, when we started back up, we couldn't do lips. We could,
right.
we weren't allowed to do lips.
Yeah.
I think they didn't release us to do lips for another year.
Wow.
Yeah. Because how are you going to do lips
Mm-hmm.
with your client having a mask on?
Right.
So they released us to do everything but lips.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I was grateful. Just to be back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that took the wind out of our sails. However, I utilized that time, and that's when we launched the Girlz Ink Online Training Academy, because I had nothing but time on my hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I was super focused on the academy and content and getting those classes written and done. And I did not have to lay anybody off. Olivia thought she was a goner. But I'm like, no, I have reserves.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, Kat and I had built enough reserves in our business, for our business, to last us a year, pay salaries, pay the lease, pay the bills, 1 year. 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had learned from the prior 2
Right.
economic downturns.
Right.
If it can happen twice, it's going to happen again. Just when.
Right.
And it did happen in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2022, I think there was a bounce back. Like, some people came back. We had our best year ever, but I think that was a little false because people had gotten their checks, their pandemic checks. People wanted out again. And, it's like, let us out of here. But then 2023, end of 2022, after everybody spent their checks, then you start to see the economic downturn, which, all through 2023, all through 2024, and now here in the present economic downturn. So this is my 4th one. And the way I was able to survive them was because I employed layers of insurance.
Right.
Right. Layers of insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about those.
Mm-hmm.
And so how to stay thriving when it's slow.
Right. Or at least working on thriving while it's slow. Because it's
working on thriving when it's slow.
Yeah.
Working on being prepared when the economy picks up, because it will. So number 1, we got a little list here.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say that this is for when you have time. If you have the time and your book isn't full, this is the kind of things that an artist should be doing.
Yeah.
Right?
We're speaking to the artist that is slow and experiencing a downturn.
Okay. So with that being said, number 1 is social proof everywhere. So that's your healed results, your testimonials, your before and afters. That builds the most trust more than anything. You can talk a good game, you can tell everyone how awesome you are, but if they don't see pictures, if they don't have testimonials from other people, they're likely not going to believe you.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where you need to start blasting it everywhere. You should be shouting it from the rooftops and showing everyone you possibly can. Right?
Yeah.
But from a realistic perspective, who should they be reaching out to? Right? So put it on your website, put it on your social media, do email blasts to stay at top of mind, things like that.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. It's you know, when you can show proof that you're skilled and talented, then people are gonna like trust you automatically, and they're gonna book at least a consultation with you. Right.
And that's the goal, always to get them to the consultation.
Yes. And then it's your job to convert that consultation into an actual appointment. But
yes.
Social proof everywhere. Very, very important. There's nothing more powerful, I think, than the before and afters, showcasing your healed work, getting artists to leave you reviews and give you testimonials and posting those. And like you said, on, whether it's Google, Yelp, your website, Instagram, Facebook, any place you can think of,
right?
Yeah. where you can showcase those healed results.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do the next one. Educate your client.
Yes,
I think that's really important. If we stop selling permanent makeup as just makeup and start marketing and talking about it as a long-term investment in time, money, and confidence, like we just talked about, that brings more value to what we do. That brings more value to what we do.
Well, that's already valuable, but it proves the value. And so what you could even do is play back the part of the podcast that you just listened to, write down all of the talking points, and that's your marketing talking points to your clients, right? That's your marketing talking point to all of your potential clients. And then when you do get them into the consultation, that's also what you're talking about, because that's what's going to convert them, right? Is leaning into the value of what permanent makeup will do in their life personally.
Right.
Yes. And find a way to make it relatable and share about other stories that you have. And if you don't have your own stories yet, use Teryn's stories.
Yeah. A lot of my clients too, we forgot to mention this. So jot this down. When you rewind and go back to the talking points, jot this down. A lot of my clients were athletes. They were tennis players. They were runners. They were swimmers. Here in Vegas, a lot of people don't know this, but outside Vegas, it's kind of rural. A lot of BLM property, a lot of ranches, and it's not like Vegas. I mean, we have Vegas,
right?
But then outside Vegas, it is nothing like Vegas.
Total different world.
Cowgirls,
yeah,
right. Cowgirls, cowboys, ranchers, and so I worked on a lot of women that rode horses and lived on ranches and had to work the ranch. So athletes, people that are out in the sun a lot. I worked on a lot of people that were, I think it's called botanists, right? Like they care for the grounds and the flowers outside of the casinos. People that do, outdoor land, people like that are out where their brows or their eyeliner is going to smear off because of the hobbies they like to participate in or the job that they're in. I did 3 people. I did one and then I got 2 more. And they, at the O show, Cirque du Soleil O show, they were, all 3 women, scuba divers. They had the scuba gear on and they were in the water constantly, underneath the water. And they are during the entire O show, like making sure everything underwater.
Oh, that's insane. Can you imagine that job?
Oh, it's insane.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I asked a million questions.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about being in Vegas.
Yeah.
I work on so many interesting people. So yeah, I mean, so I did my one girl and then I got 2 more because they're in the water.
Right.
Constantly. And so just, so add that to your list. So as we said, just to repeat, not selling PMU as just makeup, but defining who can really benefit from it and how it can be life-changing for so many people, how it's a really great investment, and can really, really bring a woman confidence. All right. Number 3.
All right. Visibility. This one's my favorite.
No, that's 4.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Number 3.
Oh, yeah. So number 3.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you. This is why they pay Teryn the big bucks. Yeah, but no, people are more selective now. So enhancing the experience for the client, right? So how can you stand apart from everyone and how to bring phenomenal service so that they remember you even years after.
Yes. Yeah. So number 3, enhance the experience for the client.
Yeah.
This becomes very important. So I would tell everybody listening, what do you want to experience when you go get a service, when you get your hair done, your nails done, any type of service at all? What do you expect, or what do you want to happen in order for you to consider that a great service, right? What do you like when you go get something done? So I think it's all about back to that consultation. It's about that consultation. Yeah. It's like that is make or break. That's their very first impression of you is what you have online, what they come across online, right? But then they meet you in person at the consultation. And that's where they get to hear your voice. That's where they get to hear how educated you are in your craft. That's where they get to feel your warmth. That's where they get to ask questions. And if it's a lot of questions, that's where they get to experience your patience, right? So the consultation is very important. And I would say easily 99% conversion rate. Consultation, 99% book.
Right.
Book. The comfort we provide, I think, is huge. Yes. Right? Some people, go a little overboard, with cucumbers on the eyes. Some people are estheticians.
Right.
So, that's okay. But I always made sure my client was comfortable as far as my way of providing comfort was, of course, I numb, pre-numb and secondary. The other ways I provided comfort, because, I didn't do like, ice cubes and cucumbers, not like nurturing that way. So the way I provided comfort was, how's the room temperature? Are you good? How's the comfortable? You comfortable in the bed? You need something under your knees? I always make sure I had a bolster. How do you like the music? Like my PlayStation? Do you like the music? No? Well, what do you like? I have like 7 PlayStations. Yeah, playlists. That's how I provided comfort. And my touch. I'm a hugger, touching them in their arm. And my voice, making sure my voice was always calm, a certain tone and soothing, and then talking to them through the procedure. Telling them what to expect and this, that, and other, and talking them through the procedure, what I'm going to do now and what I need them to do, and directing them and this, that, and the other, and telling them how beautiful it was going to look. That was my way of providing comfort. Yeah. So how we provide comfort can look differently for each one of us, right? I'm a little more tomboy. I'm not girly girl. So that was my way of providing comfort for my clients. And then I think the follow-up is very, very, very important. Following up with the client. And there's no one right way to follow up, would you say, Sarah? I'm going to ask you what your opinion is because of a good follow-up. I'm going to have you give one example, because you've been in customer service sales like a long time, And so it'd be interesting to hear. And you've been a client.
Yes.
You've had it done. So the follow-up. So in your opinion, what does good follow-up look like?
So I think it comes through a variety of ways. I don't think a follow-up is one touch. I think a follow-up is multiple touches. Now, you guys have to remember, I'm in the extremes, right? I do have a customer service background and I do have a strong sales background too. Okay.
So when you say one touch, you don't mean like poke, like a touching you.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
That's not
Because I
it.
think when you first started saying that, what do you mean touch? What
Right.
the fuck do you mean touch?
No, I do.
I know. You had sales lingo. You came
Yeah.
into Girlz Ink with. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is she talking about?
Yeah.
When you say touch,
Yes.
tell them what you mean.
It's not just one outreach, right? You're
Right.
not just going to call the person and forget about them. And you're not just going to call them. And most of you don't like picking up the phone anyway. I know, because I talk to most of you. I love all of you, but man. But so
sometimes there's an uncomfortability picking up the phone.
There is.
Yeah.
There is.
Okay. So I'm not going to interrupt you. Go ahead.
But I do think that it's a strong skill set to have so that you can build trust ahead of time as well, because then people can start feeling your voice. So if I was an artist and I wanted to follow up with a client,
Okay.
the first line I would do is I would call them. If I don't get them, I'm going to leave them a voicemail and go, hey, I know it's been about 6 weeks. I just want to see how you're doing, how your brows are. Let me see a picture. I'd love to follow up and see how you're doing. Right?
So you
Something as simple
believe
as that.
it should be a phone call?
I think it should be a phone call. If they don't answer, you immediately text them and then you email them at the end of the day. You have gotten them in 3 different ways.
Okay.
Right? And they usually only pay attention to one of them.
Okay.
So that's going to guarantee the increased likelihood of you making that connection with them again.
The 3 touches.
The 3
You
touches.
called, you left a voicemail, and then you emailed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what if we let's acknowledge that we may have listeners like, I'm not calling.
Yeah, and that's
I'm
okay.
uncomfortable calling.
Okay, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to replace it with one. You probably connected with them on Instagram, let's be honest, or on Facebook. Reach out to them that way, but also send them a personal text. And if they don't get back to you in a week, you're going to follow up again, at least one more time.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's how I would do it.
So if you're comfortable calling, a phone call. If they don't pick up, a voicemail.
Yep.
And then at the end of the day, if you don't hear from them, an email.
Mm-hmm.
You're just following up, checking out, want to make sure they healed okay, everything's okay.
Yeah.
If it's somebody who's just uncomfortable calling, they're shy or just then it's going to be you're going to touch them either DM, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, or email.
Right.
Or personal text.
Yes.
Okay.
And on top of that, if as you start picking up again, you want to build these skills while you're slow, but you want to keep these skills up as you start, right, building your book.
Yeah.
So that's where you have different systems in place. You have email marketing software that can automatically send a follow-up email that's customized to that person automatically in 6 weeks or 4 weeks or however long you want to wait to be in touch with that person.
Well, customers want to feel that you care about them. You care about them. It's not just come in, I do the service, I get your money, and bye.
Right.
Yeah. They want to know that you care about them. Okay, I think that's really good advice.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we always did that.
Mm-hmm.
So even when it was just me before I could, hire an assistant, which wasn't until about 14 years into my career. I mean, it was just me, and then Kat started helping me. And then about 14 years in, I moved into my own studio, and I finally brought on a front desk person to kind of help me. But up until the front desk, we always either texted. If it was customer, I get a little uncomfortable with the call. Unless it was regular customers that I just had this certain banter with, like I just felt close to them. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would call them.
Mm-hmm.
But other clients that were dry, didn't talk too much, and I just didn't really develop that banter, but we had a good relationship. I was not comfortable calling. So I would text or email. Yeah, but I always reached out for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Yeah. They weren't ready for a touch-up at 4 weeks, but I would they're pretty much done their healing at 4 weeks. But I would reach out at 4 weeks. And then we would reach out again at like the 6-week mark. Yeah. Okay. So enhance the experience for the client. I think that's important. And then,
my favorite one that I wanted to skip to. So stay visible.
Stay visible.
Right? Be top of mind. Be consistent. Post regularly. You want to be top of mind. So there's a top of mind. The Tom. You want to be the Tom. Top of mind. Right?
Top of mind.
Right.
So the acronym is TOM.
Yeah.
Top of mind. Yeah. So you got to stay out there. But a lot of people aren't comfortable doing reels or putting their face in videos. But now's the time when it's slow, maybe to start practicing that and getting comfortable with that.
Right. And you don't have to get in front of the camera. Show your results. Even if you have to put a different filter on and you're showing the same results.
Yeah, you can do voiceovers.
Yes.
You can show a result and do voiceover.
Right.
You can set up a little camera and take a picture of you just setting up your tray and do a voiceover. If you're not comfortable actually talking on camera and showing your face. So those are some little things, but staying consistency matters. You know, out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
Very quick in this industry. That happens very quick in this industry. And I think also not just social media. I think people should start networking in their community. You know,
and you would be surprised at where you can find clients. You don't need to go to beauty industry related networking. You could literally join a hiking group or something and meet people that way. So go do what you love and share
what you do.
Yes. And you can find clients all different ways.
But definitely network in your community. Use your community. Let your community support you. Give your community an opportunity to support you. And the only way that happens if you're out in your community, networking, sharing what you do. So make sure you have cards, you know, so that you can hand out. And then number 5 is level up, right? So I think slow times are perfect for training or finishing up and getting that project launched that's been sitting there. I mean, that's what I did in 2020 with the Girlz Ink Academy. I used that time wisely, Sarah. I mean, I just didn't sit around. I think I did for the first probably 10 days because you're afraid, you're a little paralyzed. Then you realize, okay, all right, this is happening. You know, I'm not dreaming. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to finish my 2 courses.
Right.
And I went at them, my powder brow course, and it was the lift course. I just went at them like crazy, just writing my chapters and my theory and all that stuff. And we got that launched during COVID, and it was perfect. And I wasn't sure if anybody would register and take the classes. I felt people needed education because they're home doing nothing. This would keep them connected. But lo and behold, people were yearning for good online classes. And so the Girlz Ink online training class launched and debuted during COVID. And it was successful. People were taking classes and signing up. And so that helped us bring in income. You know, and not dig so much into our reserves.
And help so many artists keep their skills relevant during a time where they were all home too. It just seemed like it was great all around.
100%. And the other thing I did during COVID is I started teaching. And I would go on Instagram. And I did a little needle segment on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, there's got to be something better than this. It's too hard on Instagram and using teaching tools on Instagram. So I started the podcast. Like really during COVID, the whole COVID thing, to only really to connect people. Because I know a lot of people were they were like feeling anxiety and depression and it was scary. And they were feeling disconnected from the thing they love most. And it just stopped all of a sudden out of the blue for so many of us. And it was devastating. And some handled it better than others. And so I started the podcast so people could come, listen, learn, and be a part of a community and know that we're all going through it. And that's how the Tatter-a-Fact started. To be honest with you, it wasn't really a serious thing. I didn't think I'd be here 5 years later.
Right.
No, and I did it for my own sanity too. So I had something to do and talk about PM. Who am I going to talk about PMU to? There's no
I
one.
bet Kat was getting so sick of it.
Yeah. Kat don't want to listen to me. And I have to talk about PMU.
Right.
So what better than a podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I didn't know if anybody would ever tune in and listen. I mean, I wasn't looking to build this big podcast, if I had 2 people on the other end listening, I'd be happy. Right. But look what Tatter-a-Fact turned into.
Yeah.
What the Girlz Ink Training Academy turned into. And those were all born out of a really bad economy, COVID, the shutdown, a lot of time on my hands. So use this slow season to perfect your training, to refine your healed results, to master that machine, get on latex, try new needle configurations, study color theory, take a course, start a project or finish that project, and just do what you can within your budget to become a better artist. And so that maybe you can possibly even add services like removal, like eyeliner, things like that. I think it's really important to stay busy in your industry, even if your books are slow. It's important to stay busy. In a quick note, if you're already fully booked, and I know some of you are, don't fix what ain't broken. However, I think some of this advice, even if you're fully booked, maybe you can implement it, take some of it, might be helpful or useful to you, but don't fix what ain't broken, and good for you. I'm really, really happy for you. Keep doing what works. And if you are fully booked, share your advice with other artists. Share what you're doing that has kept you busy with other artists. Pay it forward. That's always a beautiful thing. Don't gatekeep your information and your strategies and things that can help other artists. Share them. Mm-hmm. All right. So how long have we been going, Olivia?
An hour and 20. Of course.
Okay. So then I think this needs to be a part 1, part 2.
I do too.
All right.
Yeah.
So, because we've got a lot more to talk about.
We do. It's
okay.
So good.
So I think we should end it there.
Okay.
What do you think, Olivia? Yeah. Okay. Olivia's like, yeah, I gotta go home. She's pregnant again, you guys, all my listeners, all my tatty tots. Olivia's preggo again.
We got another boy in the Girlz Ink family.
Yes, you were with us while she was pregnant and had her baby. We did a live webinar together. And remember when you were sweating? Yeah. Profusely, and you're breathing heavy, right? We were like kind of making fun, and the listeners, everybody on the live webinar, we were all having fun with Olivia. And I made a joke. Oh my God, you surprised me if like your water breaks like any minute. And she went to the hospital next day, gave birth next day. So be careful what you say. You gotta be careful with your words. Yeah, but so I don't think we've really announced it. So let's just officially announce it. Our Olivia, those of you who've been listening to Tatter-a-Fact all these years, Olivia's been my RHG, my right-hand girl. What do I call you? My tech pilot, my co-pilot, all 5 years. And so she is, how many months? 5. Has it been 5 already? 4.5 months pregnant with her second baby boy. Yay!
Yay!
And I know you're super, super happy. All right. So, yeah, I thought we'd get through all this in one podcast, but there's just no way we're going to.
Yeah, there's no way. And it's too good. And I want to be able to share it.
Yeah, no, it's too
thoroughly.
good. It's too good. We've got another probably hour and 20 minutes. And it's really good stuff because we're going to get into the psychological effects. We're going to get into hidden opportunities. We're going to get into money management. We're going to get into tracking your numbers. We're going to get into some nitty-gritty stuff that I think they need to hear. Okay, so this is part 1. I thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for joining me.
You are welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. We'll see you for part 2.
Yes, part 2 is coming.
All right. My listeners, thank you for hanging out with us today. That was the truth, the tea, and the Tatter-a-Fact. And until next time, stay in pursuit of excellence and happiness.